Welcome back to Views with Hughes, Culture and News. This is Jerome Hughes. Now, let's go ahead and get right into it. So, got another rumor here. We have Kathleen Kennedy. She's been in hiding and hasn't been making much of any major appearances since the Acolyte, okay? Now, there's a latest rumor out there that after word got around that DEI is no more from Disney, from a growing number of other companies too, including Disney. According to the latest Disney Insider reports, we're about to witness one of the most satisfying house cleanings in Hollywood history. Remember, this is rumor, and let's be honest, it's about time if it's true. Now, rumor has it that it's going to be Jon Favreau, the man who is practically saved Star Wars from Kathleen Kennedy once before, is now getting the chance to go ahead and free Lucasfilm under Kathleen Kennedy from what I can only call a flying monkey infestation. And how is Jon Favreau doing it? Well, let's just say that it's possible that he's channeling some old school Hollywood problem solving, which is exile, okay? Something that Kathleen Kennedy may be familiar with, but instead of banishing these folks to the furthest reaches of the galaxy, no pun intended, Jon Favreau is sending them somewhere else just as poetic. The Starlight pick of another studio where they can be digested for millennia in their own competent rage. Once again, no pun intended. Now, if you've been paying attention, you've probably noticed that all the signs, and according to this particular Disney insider, you've been reading the writing on the wall correctly. You see, the changes that Jon Favreau has been pushing for are possibly finally happening, okay? Now, over the next few months, we may see a major shakeup across Lucasfilm under Kathleen Kennedy, okay? Now, productive but woke employees, they're being moved over to Skydance, okay? Those who are woke and are not productive, well, let's just say the contracts are coming to an end, all right? Now, Hollywood's big game of musical chairs is in full swing, and the best part about that is that the ones who did the most damage to Star Wars are being escorted right out the door, okay? Now, once again, the rumor is that the flying monkeys, the media writers and stuff, the people who ran Star Wars into the ground under Kathleen Kennedy, are being sent over to Skydance. And according to this particular Disney insider, Skydance has basically become the last stronghold for the proud culture of Marxism in Hollywood. And let's be clear right now, Jon Favreau isn't just, throwing them a lifeline. Nah, this is just a strategic move. You see, Jon Favreau is sending all the hardcore ideologues or woke ideologues back to the motherland where they can go ahead and continue spending their ineffective social programming without trapping Disney in their outdated web of nonsense, okay? Now, to the untrained eye, this may look like the usual Hollywood game of personnel shuffling, if you will, where all the executives move all around all the time, right? But those in the know, they'll recognize that Skydance is suddenly tilting way left. And you know what? That's okay. Let them have it. Hollywood needs a containment zone, and if Skydance wants to be the next NBC with movie cameras, that's their business, okay? Just as long as they stay far, far away from Lucasfilm. Now, I know what some of y'all may be thinking. What about Kathleen Kennedy? You see, the woman who oversaw Star Wars' darkest era, the person who turned one of the most beloved franchises in history into a huge woke battleground for woke identity politics. Well, I'm going to let y'all know this. It's possible that Kathleen Kennedy and her reign of terror is coming to an end. Now, this particular insider says that Kathleen Kennedy is done. You see, they're giving Kathleen Kennedy the smallest send-off that they can get away with. No grand farewell, no victory lap, just a quiet, shameful fade into obscurity. And honestly, that's exactly what Kathleen Kennedy deserves. Now, we've all heard this time and time again, where Kathleen Kennedy is going to be fired, or, all the rumors coming to fruition and everything, but we haven't really heard much from Kathleen Kennedy lately, at least until, more of this Ray movie stuff starts to develop even further. But it was even also revealed recently that Daisy Ridley did come forward to discuss the movie saying that it's going to be political and that Star Wars has always been political. But the problem is that the people are already seeing through it. No one's going to tune into it necessarily. The only people who are going to tune into it are those who are the shares to go ahead and get their kickbacks. You see, this may not be some grand retirement for Kathleen Kennedy. It's not a celebration of a career well spent. Nah, this is Hollywood's way of quietly admitting that they backed the wrong horse. Okay, that fourth wave feminism, the radical agenda driven nonsense that Kathleen Kennedy actually championed, failed spectacularly. Now, there's no flaming funeral, no heroic departure, just a whimper into irrelevance. And honestly, people, I mean, that's just more justice than I ever expected to see, if this rumor is true. Now it seems that the dust is settling, the real work begins, okay? And according to this particular source, Jon Favreau has a clear plan for rebuilding Lucasfilm after Kathleen Kennedy ruined it. Excuse me. First off, Jon Favreau may be tackling the movies because, let's be honest, Star Wars under Kathleen Kennedy on the big screen has been a huge disaster for years. Now, if Jon Favreau can go ahead and turn that around and do the things that Kathleen Kennedy refused to do, well, the pucks are next. And then once the brand is on solid footing again, Jon Favreau is going to focus on bringing back the toy companies. Now, that means that actual high quality Star Wars, merchandise that's designed for both collectors and kids, okay? And if anything goes to plan, I mean, we may go ahead and just simply see a more profitable Star Wars toy line in just 2 or 3 years. But this also got me wondering, is Jon Favreau the one that may be stepping up next to go ahead and head Lucasfilm, to be the next head of the Lucasfilm to replace Kathleen Kennedy? I mean, this may be how you fix a franchise if it's true. Now, you cut out the dead weight, you send the ideologues packing, and you know what? If Jon Favreau is the one who's going to be behind this stuff, then it seems like he may be the next in line as a position to become the Lucasfilm president. I may be wrong, okay? Just take my word. Just take this all with a grain of salt and stuff, because, like I said, all of this is rumor, so far speculation. And basically, it seems that the Favreau is like showing that you get back to telling great stories in Star Wars that Star Wars fans actually wanted to see, okay? And you get a huge profit. Now, Jon Favreau truly understands this, and that's why Jon Favreau has been fighting this war behind the scenes for years, all right? And now Jon Favreau may finally have the upper hand. So, what exactly does this mean for the future of Star Wars, one may ask? Well, for one, it may mean that we might actually get Star Wars movies worth watching again. It means we could see Star Wars stories that may focus on adventure, heroism, and classic storytelling instead of, the lecture of woke identity politics, where gender politics and systemic oppression are at the fold. And honestly, that's all we ever wanted. No one cared if Star Wars had a strong female characters. No one had an issue with diversity. But what we had a problem with was the forced messaging, the forced woke messaging, the rewriting of our beloved Star Wars characters that got away from George Lucas, and the smug attitude that came with it all. Okay. Now, with the possibility of the flying monkeys, as they call it, being gone, the poison is finally being drained from Lucasfilm. So it seems. Now, don't get me wrong. There's still a lot of work to do. You see, you also got to work to bring back the Star Wars fans, the OG fans and stuff who left before, who gave up on Star Wars. Now, remember, the damage that Kathleen Kennedy and her cronies did won't be undone overnight. But at least for now, for the first time in a long time, there may be some real hope for Star Wars. And that's something that Star Wars fans haven't heard in years, okay? But as for those who are still under contract, apparently, if they've still got time left at Disney, they're being shuffled over to Searchlight, okay? And that's why we're possibly seeing people like Rain Roberts land there. You see, it's a temporary holding pen, a way for Disney to go ahead and sideline these people without creating too much noise, okay? But make no mistake, I mean, it seems like this could be the end of the road for them too. Now they're being phased out one way or another. All right. Now we may have crossed what they call the epimatics moment for Star Wars under Kathleen Kennedy, where the Star Wars war is soon over and the bad guys lost. The Confederates are heading home, no pun intended. The Star Wars Republic is being restored, and Kathleen Kennedy may be losing her grip. Okay, because we haven't seen much of her or heard much of her lately. And if Jon Favreau's plan works, we might see Lucasfilm rise from the ashes. But at the same time, we still have to stay vigilant because these woke ideologues won't go down without a fight. They'll scream, they'll rage, they'll call us all the names in the book. But at the end of the day, I mean, they lost. And that, my friends, is something that's worth celebrating. So here we go, raising a glass. This is a bottle. Raising a glass to Jon Favreau, to the fans who never gave up on Star Wars and the future of Star Wars, because for the first time in a long time, things are finally looking up, so it seems. And to those of you all who tune out of Star Wars and stuff, hey, I completely understand, because you've been fans of it since day one, whether it be you first saw the movies in 1976, or you probably became a fan of it when you were kids from the 80s or the 90s, perhaps even the 2000s. If you're looking to come back and stuff, hey, that's excellent. Okay, but if not, that's fine too. All right, so let me know thoughts about this in the comments below, and also be sure to include any additional details or thoughts you might have on this particular topic. Oh, wait a minute. For those who actually left the fandom and everything, for the Star Wars fandom because you gave up on it, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you haven't done anything wrong. Okay, so I took my hat to you all as well, because of the fact that the matter is your absence of stuff or your departure from it, showing that you don't really care about it, actually spoke volumes to them, because that right there was what led them to be afraid in the first place also. So yeah, they're afraid of the ones who are the fans who stuck around, as well as those who are left. Okay, because of the fact that the matter is they're not making any profits because they've messed up Star Wars. Okay, so let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Also, be sure to include any additional details or thoughts you might have on this particular topic. If you enjoyed what was shared in this video, go ahead and smash the like button, share the video far wide across social media. And if you haven't done so already, enjoyed all the content that I put out there, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, click the bell notification, so that way you'll be notified of future uploads and updates. Till then, peace.